to a striker in the box.
49 Premier League goals in 74 games for Aubameyang, and nobody in the Premier League has scored more in that period.
And it was hard today to find some energy at the end of the week, but we did it. I think everybody is doing well. And
yeah, brilliant start, and it's Arsenal defensively. The too preoccupied with Yerry Mina, as you can see there, and it causes all kinds of problems, I think, in the end. David Luiz mistimes his header, but what a finish from Calvert-Lewin. You see here, I don't know what Kolasinac is doing with Yerry Mina. You just let him run. It's going to be offside if the ball comes in. But you cannot doubt the quality of Calvert-Lewin's finish. Yes, his foot's high, but his eye is firmly on the ball, and a lovely finish past Leno.
7 in 9 now in the Premier League under Carlo Ancelotti for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Conversations going on in the Arsenal defence, but it was a decent response. Saka had only been on the pitch 9 minutes to assist the equalising goal.
Well, yeah, but and plus that was apart from the second goal, that was their first shot on target though, so there was no need to panic. But then once you get Saka on the ball, you look at Eddie Nketiah, he's not made any great movement. That's just a magnificent ball in. You know, sometimes you just put it in the area, and the forward should be making the move to get it in there. When you look at that, he's not looking at anything. It's just a fantastic ball in. Brilliant. Super stuff.
As Righty said, he doesn't do anything. All he's thinking about is getting it in the danger area, and it's up to the forwards to make the run. But actually, the run wasn't dynamic. It was just a straightforward,
just ran
straight run into the penalty area, hoping that it's got the quality on it. It was a lovely, lovely cross from the young kid.
6 minutes later, they were in front from a source that you pointed out before the game.
Yeah, but
he knows his stuff, you see. He does. He knows.
But you know, with David Luiz, if you're going to give him this kind of time, and you look at Iwobi, I think Iwobi should be going to him, because that's where the danger is. They don't do it. Their line's too high. Magnificent run from Aubameyang. Magnificent run. Because what you got to do is, some people get into you feel you have to run straight. If you watch him, he runs towards Sidibe first to stay on side, then he goes. That is how you stay on side. And when you've got someone like David Luiz who can pass that ball, that's a real problem for Everton. Fantastic football.
Yeah, really nice goal, wasn't it? Simple enough, but lovely movement from Aubameyang. Really clever, in and then out. And David Luiz just slotted it in for him. And again, once he's going one-on-one with the keeper, there's only one result. Supremely confident. His goal-scoring record is exceptional, and you just knew he was going to score.
Yeah, and he's just one behind Jamie Vardy now in the Premier League top scoring list. But right on the stroke of half-time, Everton got back. Arsenal again vulnerable?
Yes, and it's a massive problem for Arsenal, because they look really shaky. And they look shaky because, well, you see the mismatch there. The smallest person on the field is marking the biggest person on the field. So that causes concern straight away. Even though there's zonal marking, ball comes in, flick on by Iwobi, but I mean, let's be honest, it's a really poor goal, and the keeper's at fault. The keeper is at fault. Yerry Mina gets a flick on, of course he does, but it's only the slightest touch. He comes flapping. The keeper has to be stronger, has to be more commanding, and has to just come and clear everybody out the way.
I think the problem with that, for me, with Arsenal, is that and where Everton will feel that they'll constantly be in this game is because they've not done too much and they're back in the game. And like Steve said there, with the set pieces, Yerry Mina looks like he is frightening us to death. And what's going to happen now is that even if Arsenal do score, they're going to be nervous, and it's going to be interesting to see how we deal with that now.
What a boost for Everton right on the stroke of half time.
Yeah, first minute and last minute of the half, and it was really important because you felt that Arsenal were growing into the game and they could have run away with this. But now they can go in, Everton can reset, Carlo can have a word with them, Duncan can have a word with them, and then they can come out and start again. But it's certainly an area where Everton should prove positive, set pieces, and where Arsenal are slightly vulnerable.
OK, well, if the second half is anything like the first, don't go anywhere. 2-2.
And, the significance of that result, Robbie, is what?
It's important for Arsenal to get the 3 points, back-to-back wins for the first time since early in the season. Mikel Arteta is slowly getting his message across. He's probably got no fingernails left, but he's got 3 points. That was the important thing. Graham Lasso mentioned it in commentary. part of when Arsenal play well, they look like a top-six team. But their inconsistency of their play and the lack of intensity at time means that sometimes they play like a mid-table team. And that's what Arteta's going to have to address. But I can see progress in this team. Yes, it was a little bit sort of seat of their pants at times today, but you see progress in what they're trying to do, how players are more accountable to themselves and their teammates, and that's an important win today.
Ancelotti talked earlier this week about how it makes him want to cry how bad Everton are at top six clubs on the road. That there is the bridge he's going to have to, the gap he's going to have to try and bridge, is it not?
Yeah, and we were looking for him to shake Arteta's hand on the way out. He might have had tears in his eyes and didn't want to be seen to be crying, because again, it's for him, as someone used to the level of consistency and focus and I would say execution on both ends with the clubs that he's had, the competitions he's been in, he'll be so disappointed in how well they played through stretches of this game. And then Calvert-Lewin was profligate in front of the goal in a way that number 9s are not normally in squads that he has. Then on the other end, a couple lapses defensively means they leave with nothing today. And I think both managers will be a bit concerned in the inconsistency in their sides. You know, Arsenal, it is improving, but they've tied so many games, and today was a tie game. I mean, today was a game where they should have left with a draw based on how many chances they gave up.
A great example of the inconsistencies, especially of Arsenal. They concede a goal in the first minute of the first half, but then score a goal in the first minute of the second half, it becomes a winner. That's what Arteta's dealing with.
Both of these teams, their managers want them to dominate. I mean, nothing about today was domination. Both teams took turns dominating the game.
Indeed. We've had 3 games today. We're going to bring you the full highlights from all of them, but we found a theme within those 3 games, which really were the day of stars today. We're going to start by picking... As I say, we will have full highlights from the game at the Emirates. Earlier on, Manchester United beat Watford by 3-0. And the star for Manchester United today, one of their new men, their newest man, in fact, Bruno Fernandes, who got on the score sheet for the first time in a Manchester United shirt. However, when we have a little look at his day, Kyle, it would be, for him, ideal if some other players on the field in the shirt of Manchester United were on his level.
Yeah.
Wolves really making light of struggling Norwich, which may end up being a qualification place for the Champions League, and it's really tight. You have to say, if Arsenal are in it, then Burnley in 10th position are in it as well. Wolves above them, Sheffield United and Tottenham both on 40 points. Manchester United right now in 5th after their win today, 41 points. Just 3 points, though, they are behind Chelsea. That's how the top half of the table is looking. Where are Everton? Well, today's results push them into 11th for the weekend on 36 points from 27 games played. Well clear of relegation. No problem at all with that. 12 points clear of relegation, but they will be hoping for at least a top half finish. Ancelotti this week talking about an eye on the Europa League. They're going to have to improve if that's going to...
Right, we've got plenty of work to do. The half-time talk, they'll be going in today saying, we've still got plenty of work to do, by the way. I mean, terrible start from Arsenal's point of view. Come back in the game, we've seen that, and then they let Everton right back into things just before half-time. It's about, and I think Graham mentioned, it's about consistency of both sets of players, on Everton and on Arsenal. We've seen moments where one can be in control and they're dominating game, and other times when they make some silly mistakes.
Well, you got a hunch?
Yeah, I mean, the thing for Everton is, I love the system they were trying to play. Delph sneaking out to the left to give them a little bounce when they build with the ball, bringing Sigurdsson into midfield. They got caught in transition several times, and Ancelotti, being sort of a defensive-minded manager, is going to be furious with just minor lapses in what otherwise was a good first half for Everton.
We've got a good second half ahead of us, that's for certain. After the break, the headline moments from the other 2 games today as Bruno Fernandes gets his first United goal and Wolves dispatch Norwich with ease.
Their lead again at the top, but the big move is now up to 9. 37 points, just 4, like Burnley. Pushes Everton into the bottom half on 36 points, 2 ahead of Southampton. Watford and Norwich still in the bottom 3. West Ham will have a go at Anfield tomorrow, but Villa and Bournemouth still nervously. Match winner, and no surprise where that came from.
Right, we've got plenty of work to do. The half-time talk, they'll be going in today saying, we've still got plenty of work to do, by the way. I mean, terrible start from Arsenal's point of view. Come back in the game, we've seen that, and then they let Everton right back into things just before half-time. It's about, and I think Graham mentioned, it's about consistency of both sets of players, on Everton and on Arsenal. we've seen moments where one can be in control and they're dominating game, and other times when they make some silly mistakes.
You got a hunch?
Yeah, I mean, the thing for Everton is, I love the system they were trying to play. Delph sneaking out to the left to give them a little bounce when they build with the ball, bringing Sigurdsson into midfield. They got caught in transition several times, and Ancelotti, being sort of a defensive-minded manager, is going to be furious with just minor lapses in what otherwise was a good first half for Everton.
We've got a good second half ahead of us, that's for certain. After the break, the headline moments from the other two games today as Bruno Fernandes gets his first United goal and Wolves dispatch Norwich with ease.